After researching vaccinations, I have found that vaccinations are an important part of the healthy well-being of our society. I will be discussing what a vaccination is, the benefits of being vaccinated, and the problems associated without vaccinations. What are vaccinations? A vaccination is a medication that is introduced to the body's immune system so that it can fight a disease that it has not seen before. Vaccines work by exposing our immune system to a safe version of the disease. Vaccines can come in different forms, such as a weakened pathogen, a dead or inactivated form of a pathogen, a protein or a sugar from the makeup of a pathogen, and a toxoid containing toxin made by a pathogen. Most vaccines are given by an injection and given in two parts. The first injection is an antigen that will introduce the disease to the immune system. The second is the adjuvant, sending a danger signal to the body. This is what helps the body to develop an immunity to the disease in which the body is being vaccinated.
To understand how vaccines work, it helps to look first at how the immune system works, because vaccines harness the natural activity of your immune system. There are about 100 trillion bacteria and viruses on your body. Not all of them cause disease, but some are able to get inside our bodies to multiply, and this can make us ill. There are barriers to stop this happening, but suppose some disease-causing bacteria do get through. Your immune system is quick to recognize them as invaders. This is because the proteins or sugars on the bacteria's surface have different shapes to any of the ones in the human body. They trigger a complex chain of events involving many different types of white blood cells working together. One type of white blood cell is able to make antibodies to fight the invaders. Antibodies can stick to the proteins or sugars on the bacteria's surface, and this kills the bacteria or disables them. However, not all antibodies will work against these bacteria. They have to be exactly the right shape, a bit like a key fitting a lock. Our bodies have a library of billions of white blood cells, each of which can make just one shape of antibody. Only a few of these antibodies will match the invading bacteria. Producing antibodies of the right shape can take several days. By this time, there could be billions of disease-causing bacteria in your body. Once the right cells are activated, they quickly divide and turn into a production line, making masses of antibodies that stick to the bacteria. Eventually, your body gets rid of all the bacteria and you recover. Antibodies remain in the blood, and some white blood cells may also become memory cells. If those specific bacteria invade the body again, the immune system will respond so quickly that you won't get ill. Vaccines work in the same way. They contain weakened or dead bacteria or viruses, or even just a few proteins or sugars from the surface. This is enough to convince the immune system that a real invader has got in. The same process takes place as when real bacteria or viruses invade our bodies, except you don't get ill. Afterwards, if your body ever meets the real thing, your immune system will remember it and get rid of it before you even know it's there.
Vaccinations are an important part of maintaining public health in preventing diseases. Preventing a disease is much easier and more cost-effective than treating the disease. Vaccinations protect us from serious diseases and also prevents the spread of diseases throughout the population. Vaccinations have prevented epidemics of once common diseases such as measles and mumps. Both polio and smallpox have nearly been eradicated due to vaccinations. By vaccinating as many people of the community as we can, the citizens of the community that can't be vaccinated are protected. This is known as herd immunity.
Vaccination makes some people uneasy, and it's not just the needle. The alarming claims we've all heard about the dangers of vaccines can make vaccination seem like a big risk to take. But humans' perception of what's risky is notoriously unreliable. We tend to underestimate the risks of everyday hazards and worry too much about suffering some highly unlikely misfortune. In fact, 9% of Americans fear zombies, which don't even exist. So it's not hard to see how lots of scary talk around vaccines can be paralyzing. In reality, the risks posed by vaccines are really small. In fact, because vaccines are preventative measures given to healthy people, they're designed to be safer and have fewer side effects than interventions like medication or surgery, which doctors only resort to if someone is already suffering from a medical condition. After chemotherapy, for example, nasty reactions are almost universal, and 1 of every 2 men who use Viagra experience at least one side effect. Yet the most common side effect of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, a harmless low-grade fever, occurs in just 1 out of every 6 recipients. Less than 1 in 20 get a minor rash, and super serious reactions are super rare. Less than 1 out of every million recipients suffers a major allergic reaction. In fact, during your lifetime, you're about 3 times more likely to be killed by an errant firework, and 80 times more likely to be struck by lightning, than to have a severe reaction to the MMR vaccine. So, when the Center for Disease Control, World Health Organization, or your doctor calls a vaccine safe, they aren't saying it'll never trigger any bad reactions, they simply mean that its risks are overwhelmingly outweighed by its benefits. Shots for MMR, meningitis, and chickenpox reduce the risk of getting sick by at least 85%. Plus, vaccinating healthy people prevents nasty germs from spreading to those that are too young or weak to get vaccinated themselves. Overall, vaccines have reduced the number of whooping cough cases in the US by 97.5%, slashed the worldwide incidence of polio by more than 99%, and eradicated smallpox. But this success comes with its own side effects. As fewer and fewer people witness or experience the effects of these nasty diseases, it becomes easier to fixate on the risks of vaccines than to recognize their benefits. However, an encounter with illness can help put things into perspective. After a rash of measles spread through 27 US states in 2014 and early 2015, attitudes shifted nationwide. Over a third of Americans polled said they now viewed vaccines more favorably. And where outbreaks were particularly bad, behavior changed too. In hard-hit Clallam County, Washington, vaccination rates quadrupled. Any increase in vaccination rates is great for those that become protected, either directly or through herd immunity, but it doesn't help people who are already sick. It's better to learn before you get sick about how small the risks of vaccinations are compared to the risks of disease, because these guys are what you should really be worried about.
According to the CDC, some of the problems associated without vaccinations are possible birth defects, permanent disabilities, and even death. The world today is experiencing a pandemic because of the COVID-19 virus. Most of the world population is under a quarantine, and thousands of people are dying from COVID-19. The CDC and the NIH are unsure of the side effects of COVID-19, even if you do recover from the virus. This is the world without one vaccination. Can you imagine if the world had no vaccinations against diseases and viruses? In conclusion, the world is a much healthier place with the majority of the population being vaccinated from diseases and viruses.